As the Clone Wars came to an end and Order 66 was delivered to the clone commanders across the galaxy, Anakin Skywalker, who was now Darth Vader, marched on the Jedi Temple with his 501st clone troopers to eliminate all remaining Jedi in the dark event known as Operation Knightfall. During this mission, a small detachment from the 501st, made up of 5 clone trooper squads, were pulled back and outfitted with fake Jedi robes in order to impersonate members of the Jedi Order, hoping to keep both outsiders unaware of what was truly going on inside, as well as kill any survivors that came to them, believing they were friendly. So, who were these fake Jedi clone troopers, and what did they do at the temple on that dark day? Let's find out. Before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed for more awesome Star Wars lore content just like this. Decoy Squad 5, or the 5th Decoy Squad, was one of 5 squads from Anakin's 501st Legion, who was secretly added to their ranks only a short while before Order 66. Because Palpatine planned Order 66 a very long time in advance of executing the order, and having the clone troopers turn on their Jedi generals, he ordered a very small custom batch of clone troopers well in advance of the war that were bred specifically to possess very quick reflexes and be constantly alert. These clones were created to have traits very similar to a Jedi Knight, or at least as close as the Kaminoans could get with a simple clone. Because of the extreme complexity of these clone troopers and their very secretive purpose, the order placed with the Kaminoans by Palpatine only allowed them to create around 40 of these units. Fast forwarding to the day of Operation Knightfall, these clone troopers were covertly inserted into the 501st Legion and were given the order to put on fake Jedi robes and garments while pretending to be Jedi Knights protecting the temple. One of the squads who were from this secret group was called Decoy Squad 5, and these guys were the absolute best of the Decoy clones. And yes, Decoy Squad 5 is not the most secretive name. Decoy Squad 5 was led by a sergeant and was tasked with guarding one of the many entrances to the Jedi Temple from any intruder after Order 66. After the distress beacon inside of the Jedi Temple was turned on, informing the Jedi that the war was over and that they were to return to the temple, Decoy Squad 5 waited patiently at their assigned entrance, wearing their Jedi robes, and were instructed to kill any returning Jedi on sight. The other 4 decoy squads guarded the other temple entrances, pretending to be Jedi also, but Squad 5 was the most important. They had the tough task of guarding the entrance where Obi-Wan Kenobi and Grandmaster Yoda entered the temple. While guarding their entrance, the members of Decoy Squad 5 noticed a very strange hunchbacked man who drooled all over himself constantly and spoke in a very indistinct and unclear way. In this strange man's arms was a small bundle tightly wrapped up in cloth. All 8 of the Decoy Squad 5 troopers drew their weapons on the man while still wearing their Jedi robes, and the sergeant commanded the weird hunchback man to identify himself immediately. The strange man then assured the fake Jedi clone troopers that he was on their side, insisting that he had captured a Jedi baby and had simply brought the child there for them to execute. After hearing this, the clone sergeant ordered his men to lower their weapons and became curious at what the man was holding. After looking inside of the man's cradled hands, the clone sergeant judged the baby as the ugliest baby he had ever laid his eyes on, questioning whether or not this thing really was a Jedi before saying to the man, "Anyone could grab some deformed kid and claim it's anything they want. How do you know it's a Jedi?" As soon as the clone sergeant says this, the little baby inside of the cloth snaps back at the clone trooper by saying, "My lightsaber, the first clue would be," revealing himself to be Grandmaster Yoda. At this point, the hunchback man also revealed himself as Obi-Wan Kenobi and told the clone troopers that if they did not resist or try to prevent entry to the Jedi Temple, none of them would be harmed. Unfortunately, the men of Decoy Squad 5 were trained from birth for this moment, refusing to comply with Obi-Wan's order, leading the 2 of the Jedi to brutally cut them down. Similar to what we saw in Revenge of the Sith, Master Yoda and Obi-Wan were then going to hide the clone troopers' bodies and remove their fake Jedi robes, but ultimately decided against it as they had absolutely no time to spare while infiltrating the Jedi Temple, and instead continued inside. They figured that if the other 501st members believed that the Decoy Squad 5 members left their post, it would be just as odd as finding their bodies. This scene was actually shot and was going to make it to the final cut of Revenge of the Sith before George Lucas decided to cut it from the film because he felt that it bloated the Jedi Temple raid sequence. So let me know if you would have loved to see something like this in the main film. It was however included in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, which you guys should definitely read as it's one of the best Star Wars books ever written. So those are the clone troopers who pretended to be Jedi during Order 66. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.